Hello and welcome back. This practice is a more slow-based practice. A lot of the postures that we'll be doing will be seated or kneeling. There might be a few downward dogs in there, but other than that, we won't have any really standing postures for this one. So just nice and gentle. If you have two blocks and a blanket, go ahead and grab those. You don't necessarily need any props for this one, but if you know you'd like to practice with those props, definitely feel free to pause the video and grab those. And we're gonna get started in a seated position. So go ahead and come to a seat. If you have that blanket, feel free to sit right on the edge of that blanket. And I'm just taking my right shin in front of my left shin to come to a Sukhasana seat. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Allow your shoulder blades to rest just sort of in a nice, easy way, resting away from the ears. So sometimes we tend to just shrug up and stay in this position, all day, whether it be in a desk, typing for work, or driving. So just allow yourself to really relax here. Maybe even let the arms fall down away from your body and just let them loose. But come to a seat where you can start to notice how you're breathing and start to draw your attention inwards and notice how you're breathing. Do you feel the breath getting caught anywhere in the body? Maybe in the chest, the throat, or do you feel the breath in the abdomen? And just noticing. And if you haven't done so yet, please go ahead and seal the lips. And so we're going to take some nice deep inhales through the nose. Keep the lips sealed for the exhales. Release the exhale completely. Try not to rush your inhales or exhales. Go ahead and take another deep inhale through the nose. And an exhale, release it all. And go ahead and continue breathing on your own, with your own pace, just like that. Maybe this time using your exhales to soften a little around the hips, the glutes, top of the thighs. And then on your next exhale, soften around the jaw, the sides of the neck, and the belly. Continuing to deepen your breath, releasing the exhales completely. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and take an exhale, maybe an open sigh, an open mouth exhale. Just sigh it out. Perhaps you do that again a few more times, taking an inhale through the nose. Sigh it out on the exhale, open mouth. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and float your eyes back open and then make your way to tabletop on hands and knees. You can move your blanket out of the way for now. And just make your way to hands and knees with wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's take a few cat and cows here. So on an inhale, start to lower your belly, lift your chin, spread your collarbones. Maybe you even tuck the toes. And then whenever you're ready, take an exhale, start to untuck your toes, round your spine, and bring your chin towards your chest. Go ahead and take another inhale, lower the belly, lift the chin and the gaze. Think about spreading the collarbones. And then exhale, draw your navel to spine. Tuck your chin towards your chest. And then take another inhale. Lift the chin, lift the gaze, tuck the toes. Exhale. navel to spine, chin to chest. And then go ahead and take another inhale. Come back to neutral. Extend your left leg back towards your mat and just have your toes engaged. So just reaching through the toes, spreading your toes wide. Feel that stretch through the calf muscles all the way up, maybe perhaps into that left hip flexor. You can pulse here, maybe just hold stillness, totally up to you. And whenever you're ready, we're going to step this left foot all the way through to the top of your mat for a lizard lunge. Feel free to come up onto those blocks if you would like. I'm going to come up onto the highest setting at first and just allow myself to ease on into this lizard lunge. So my right leg is extended long down the mat. Feel free to extend that leg long as much as you can. Let your pelvis drop. Let gravity do its job. And see if you can still keep your chest lifted here, but just releasing any gripping throughout the hips or maybe perhaps the thighs or the glutes, and just really allow that tension to be released so you can let the pelvis sink. Take a deep breath in and exhale it out. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and shift back into the hips, sweep that left knee back in, come back to your tabletop position. And then extending the left leg out to the side, take an inhale, reach up through the left arm, and an exhale, thread it underneath the right arm, but don't come all the way down, just stopping enough till you feel that stretch along the left inside of the thigh. And then another inhale, unwinding you, reaching that left arm back up. And an exhale, threading it underneath the right arm. And then whenever you're ready, just placing that left hand back on your mat. And then taking a moment to pause here in this gate pose with both hands down on the mat. And then sweeping that left knee in whenever you're ready. And go ahead and extend the right leg long down the mat, just engaging through the toes. Spread your toes wide as you can. And just reach through the toes. Feel that connection along the right side of that back leg. And again, maybe you pulse a little bit here. Maybe you find a little bit of stillness. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to take that big step with that right foot all the way to the top of the mat, lizard lunge. Place your hands up on the tallest setting of the block. And now allowing you to lengthen that left leg. Fix your blocks and bring them as close to your body as you need to have that support so you can let that pelvis sink down. And just taking a deep breath here as you settle in. Nice deep breath in. Exhale it to release. Release that gripping on this side and just allow that pelvis to sink. And start to settle into this shape. Take a few more deep breaths. And then whenever you're ready, start to shift your weight back into your hips again. Sweep in that right knee. Come back to your tabletop. You can just leave your blocks at the top of your mat there. Go ahead and step your right leg out to the right side, coming to that gate pose. Take an inhale, reach up to the right arm, and an exhale, thread it underneath that left arm. But again, not coming all the way down, just stopping enough till you feel that connection along the inside of that right thigh. We're gonna go ahead and take another inhale, reach up through that right arm, and exhale whenever you're ready, thread it right under that left arm. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, thread it under, feeling the spine rotate. And then inhale, just plant that right hand, finding your gate pose for a moment. And then just sweeping that right knee back up, or back in, I'm sorry. Go ahead and tuck your toes and sit back into the heels with the toes tucked. We're gonna come to a broken toe pose here. So sometimes this can be quite juicy, so it might even be helpful if you have those blocks to place on both sides of your hips as you come into broken toe pose, and just kind of using the blocks to guide you. So feel free to also just move any toes out of the way, especially if they're kind of just bunched up. Spread the toes wide, sink back into the heels, and enjoy the stretch. Now, it can be quite juicy, so come right back to your breath. Nice, slow, steady breath. And we won't be here too long. Let's see if you can soften through the toes, soften through the feet. And feel free to come out of this whenever you need to by coming up onto your hands and untucking the toes. But if you could stay with it, we'll be here for about 30 more seconds. But feel free to come out of that position, out of the broken toe pose at any time that you need to. And just listening to your body. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and bring your hands back up in front of you and then untuck the toes. But go ahead and maybe just give the feet a little shake there, a little tapping. And then let's start to invite in an ankle stretch. So whenever you're ready, start to lean back into the heels. Toes are not tucked. Place your hands behind you and not really lifting so much through the chest, but just enough to where we can lift the knees and then we can feel an ankle stretch. So I'm just lifting my knees here. Feel that stretch along the top part of your ankle. Now feel free to lower your knees here at any time. That will be more of a quad stretch through the top of your thighs. So whatever you're feeling, you can even go back and forth to both. Maybe you can count 30 seconds in your ankle stretch, and then maybe 30 seconds in a quad stretch. But I invite you to just choose whatever feels good in your body right here, right now. And while you're doing this, go ahead and come back to your breath as well. So just taking some nice, slow, steady breaths. And continue your counting if you were going back and forth between the quad stretch and ankle stretch. And then whenever you're ready, take another breath there. And start to walk your hands back to an upright position. And then meet me back in a tabletop. So hands and knees. Start to extend that left leg long down your mat again. Tucking the toes. Go ahead and pivot that right knee and start to roll that left arm up towards the sky, looking down towards your right hand, coming to a supported side plank here. Couple of breaths. And so that left arm can reach just up towards the sky, maybe reaching overhead, stretching a little bit more through that left side body. And feel free to pick up that left foot and just hover the foot up above your mat. You can keep the toes engaged by flexing those toes towards your nose. Few breaths there, feeling the glutes engage, feeling the muscles fire up. Few more breaths here. On your next exhale, go ahead and step that left foot forward to the top of your mat, coming back to it, that lizard lunge here. Now our hands are on our mat, but feel free to place them back onto the blocks whenever you need to. We're coming back to that lizard lunge. And then taking the left hand to the left knee, start to rotate the spine towards the left and just rotating that spine to where you feel that little bit of compression, maybe in the low back. Keeping this nice and gentle though. On your next exhale, start to come back towards the mat, unwind yourself, plant your hands, shift your weight back into your hips, sweep in that left knee, come back to tabletop. Let's take a few cat and cows here again. So inhale, lower the belly, lift the chin. Exhale, tuck, sorry, chin to chest, rounding the spine. I had a brain fart there for a minute. Inhale, lower the belly, lift the chin and the gaze, and exhale, round your spine, chin to chest. Inhale, come back to center, back to neutral here. Tuck the toes, take an exhale for a downward facing dog. And feel free to pedal out the feet here. Let your spine get nice and long, bend your knees. Take a few breaths here. And then take an inhale to rebend your knees, come back to tabletop nice and slow. Feel free to wiggle back around into the hips. You can fix your tabletop here by wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then whenever you're ready, we'll extend that right leg back towards the back of your mat. Again, just having those toes engaged. And then we're going to pivot this left knee, spin our toes off to the side. Take an inhale, reach that right arm up towards the sky. Your gaze is down at the left hand. Supported side plank. And again, just reaching up towards the sky or maybe taking that right arm up and overhead so you can feel a little bit more of a stretch through the right side of the body. Feel free to from here to pick up that right foot. You can flex the toes, keeping the toes engaged, and just feel that full body cross connection here. Back to your breath. It's okay if you're a little bit shaky and wobbly. That is fine. And if you're working on your balance, perhaps you even try to close your eyes here. Take a few more breaths. Keep in mind that right foot can still be hovering, or feel free to lower it to the mat at any point. Whenever you're ready, let's take a next inhale. Start to reach that right foot up towards the top of the mat. Come back to your lizard lunge. So now both of my hands are planted down on the mat again. Left leg extends long. Find your lizard lunge. Take that right hand to the right knee or thigh. Start to open that right hip. Rotate the spine out towards the right. Rotating the rib cage, I should say, out towards the right. And not going to a full range of motion here. So not going deep into this twist or this rotation in the spine, but being able to still breathe nice and easy here. And on your next exhale, plant that right hand, come back to your lizard lunge, gaze is down towards your mat. Shift your weight back into your hips again, sweep in that right knee. Take an inhale to extend the spine and an exhale for a child's pose. Child's pose of your choice. You can keep your knees together and feet together with the arms out in front of you. Or maybe you decide to keep the feet together and the knees wide and have some space for the abdomen. Totally up to you. Find a version that you can settle into, and if you have that blanket, maybe perhaps you even set it underneath of the thighs, or the hamstrings, I should say, on top of the calves. Could be a nice option there for a little bit of extra compression and support. Resting your forehead down on the mat, or turn your head to the side.
Whatever you decide here, just start to draw your attention back inwards, using your exhales to soften around the backside of the body, using your inhales to feel the body expand on the sides, expanding the rib cage. And exhale again to soften, release any tension in the low back. Take a few more deep breaths here. On your next inhale, start to push up into the hands, and then just walk your hands back towards your body. Start to sit back onto your heels. Take a moment to pause. Take a deep breath in and a long, slow exhale out. Let's come to hands and knees. Tuck the toes. Take an exhale. Come to a downward dog. Either walk it out or find stillness here in your down dog. Bend your knees. Let your spine lengthen. And take an inhale to shift up into the hands again. Just lower the knees. Come back to a tabletop. And then we're going to make our way right to a seated position. So feel free to use your blanket again to come right on the edge of your blanket for a nice seat here. Go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees come open. We're going to come to a butterfly position here. Now feel free to use those blocks to place right underneath the knees. Maybe you would like a little bit more support there. And then feel free to start to wrap the hands right around the feet or the ankles perhaps. You can start to round forward from the bottom of the spine all the way up as you let your head be the last thing that can drop. Let your chin rest towards your chest. And just come right back to your breath. And let your jaw be heavy, parting the teeth slightly, smoothing out the forehead. Take a deep breath in, expand the belly, fill the lungs. Notice the pause at the top of your inhale, and then start to take an exhale as you completely empty out the breath. And as you take an inhale and include those deep belly breaths, that's called diaphragmatic breathing. And as you breathe in that way, deep inhale, really filling the abdomen like a balloon. The diaphragm on an inhale lowers into the pelvic bowl, and then on an exhale, it descends back up to its resting point. So sometimes having that visualization of the diaphragm moving can be helpful to come back to your breath. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds. See if you can release a little bit more into this forward fold, or perhaps staying right where you're at, enjoying where you're at. And then on an inhale, slowly start to ripple your spine back up. Let the head be the last thing that comes up as you roll the shoulders back. And take a moment to roll the shoulders forward.
And then whenever you're ready, start to slowly bring the knees together. Use your hands for support if you need to. We're going to take the left leg and bring it underneath of the right leg, but we're going to keep this left knee bent. So think about the left heel being close towards your right sit bone. And we're going to cross this right leg over top of that left leg, but keeping the right foot planted and the right knee bent. So I'm going to face the other way here, just so you can see me from a different angle. So left heel to right hip, right foot gets planted. And we're just finding this seated twist. So I'm going to use my left arm to wrap right around my right knee. Take an inhale to sit up nice and tall, and an exhale as we twist towards the right, and maybe looking over that right shoulder. And so using your right fingertips behind you as a little kickstand to just keep yourself nice and tall so you don't collapse down into the chest. And then on an inhale, start to turn the head forward. Exhale to unwind the body. And then we're just going to switch our leg position. So start to uncross your legs. Bring your right leg, thread it underneath the left leg. Right heel to the left thigh, perhaps in that general area. Left foot is planted and left knee is bent. I'm going to use my left fingertips behind me as that kickstand as I wrap my right arm around my left knee. Take an inhale, sit up nice and tall, and an exhale to find that twist. And again, maybe perhaps looking over that left shoulder. Use those fingertips as a kickstand to keep your spine nice and tall. I know it can be so easy just to want to hunch over and round the spine, but keep your spine nice and tall. And maybe even notice any sensations you might be feeling along the outside of your hip. So just pulling that left knee towards my chest adds on a little bit more sensation to the outer side of my left hip. So just notice what's happening in your body. Come back to your breath and just notice. Maybe close down your eyes here. On your next inhale, start to turn the head towards the front of your mat, and an exhale to unwind you. And start to uncross your legs and plant your feet wider than your hips distance apart. Hands can go behind you. We're just going to windshield wiper the knees side to side here. Nice and slow. You don't even need to really coordinate this movement with your breath. We just want to give the hips a nice little rinse. Maybe notice any cracking or popping. So just a few more times each side. And then slow this movement down. Come back to your seat. And just any seat will do as we wrap up this practice. So as always, thank you so much for spending your time with me. And I hope this was what you needed in your practice today. I hope you have a very peaceful day. And I'll see you next time. Namaste.